Senator, what I was talking about was the racial disparities in.
And you said it solely has to do with the color of a person's skin. You really believe that, Judge?
Well, no, Senator, I don't believe that at all.
Why did you say it? You said it, you were running for judge. You said it in front of God and country on live.
What I said, Senator, was that.
Judge Vaca, you are a member of an organization called the National Association Pacific American Bar Association, are you not?
I was, Senator. My membership lapsed at the beginning of this year, but I was a member for 2 years.
Well, my record shows you were a member for 22 years.
Senator, that was a mistake, and I actually sent a letter after I saw that mistake to the committee, so it was 2 years.
Okay. And I'll call it the NAP-ABA, is that the correct acronym?
I think NAPABA.
NAPABA?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And NAPABA is funded by Mr. George Soros, is it not?
Senator, I'm not familiar with the funding. I was a member and I paid the dues, but I had no contact with any of the members there, and so that's why I let my membership lapse.
Well, its website says that it's funded by the Open Society Foundations, which are founded by Mr. George Soros. Now, NAPABA in March of 2023, while you were still a member, NAPABA issued a statement, and it said that it supports allowing transgender and intersex girls and women to participate in all sports. Is that correct?
Senator, I'm not familiar with NAPABA's statement, so I'll take your word for it.
You didn't know anything about that?
No, Senator, I joined the organization because I thought it would give me a community of other Asian American attorneys and judges, but I didn't have any interaction with anyone in the group. I didn't attend any meetings or vote, and so I'm not aware of that statement or any of other statements made by NAPABA.
So this is all an epiphany to you. Is that right?
Yes, Senator.
Okay. NAPABA also issued a statement that said the following. It supports state and local governmental entities that choose not to honor ICE detainer requests and that do also decline to detain individuals solely on the basis of an ICE detainer request. So NAPABA opposes supporting ICE. Is that correct?
From what you just read, Senator, I guess I haven't read that statement, but I can tell you, Senator, that I don't ascribe to any of those statements that you just read to me.
Okay. Judge, in October of 2020, you ran for judge. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And on a talk radio interview, here's what you said. I'm going to quote.
Okay.
It's okay. We also need to recognize the effects of racism on our criminal justice system. Institutional racism impacts all of society. I think that is amplified in our criminal justice system. We see that in the disproportionate number of black men and women being incarcerated and convicted, end quote. Did I read that correctly?
Senator, I haven't listened to that particular show, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, okay. What do you think our criminal justice system is institutionally racist, do you?
Senator, I don't believe that our court system, by its nature, is racist.
Why did you say this then?
Well, what I meant by that was that I believe there are racial disparities in our communities.
Yeah, but that's not, we both know there's racism in every society, unfortunately. But that's not what you said. You said the criminal justice system is not just racist, it's institutionally racist. And then you said that, I'm going to quote your words, not mine, the disproportionate number of black men and women incarcerated and convicted are because of race. Did you say that?
Senator, what I was talking about was the racial disparities in.
And you said it solely has to do with the color of a person's skin. You really believe that, Judge?
Well, no, Senator, I don't believe that at all.
Why did you say it? You said it, you were running for judge, you said it in front of God and country on a live.
What I said, Senator, was that I recognize that racial disparities in our community can influence rates of incarceration.
That's not what you said. You're a political activist, aren't you, Judge?
No, not at all, Senator.
Yeah. Okay, I'm over. Thanks, Mr. Chairman, for your indulgence. I just want to talk a little bit about the law. Tell me about the war powers clauses in Articles 1 and 2.
Well, Senator, my understanding of the war powers is that the executive maintains significant authority with regard to the war, but that it has to be authorized by Congress.
What do you mean authorized?
Senator, I don't have a more, that issue has not come before me,
sure.
But I don't have a more specific definition of authorization than that the Congress has to, it's up to the Congress to authorize it. I can't say more than that, Senator.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about another issue you'll see if you're confirmed with the 11th Circuit. It's an issue we struggle with every day, and as do the federal courts. Tell me about the non-delegation doctrine.
My understanding, Senator, of the non-delegation doctrine is that Congress should not delegate its powers to other branches of government except in certain limited circumstances.
And what are those limited circumstances?
I believe, based on my understanding, that Congress can, for instance, delegate some of its authority to the executive, such as executive agencies, if that authority is carefully circumscribed.
I'm not following you. The Constitution's pretty clear in Article 1 that the legislative power resides in the United States Congress, and we can't give it away. But your argument is that we can.
Senator, it's my understanding that in certain limited circumstances that are carefully circumscribed, that Congress can delegate some of its authority to.
Okay. What's the guiding principle, though? If we tomorrow, if Congress passed a law and said we're no longer going to confirm judges, we're going to set up a special agency within the executive branch and give that agency the authority to confirm judges. Somebody's going to litigate it. What would be the principle that the court would follow?
Senator, I would certainly, if that issue were to come before me on the 11th Circuit, if I'm fortunate to be confirmed, I would research the Supreme Court's precedent and guidance on that issue and any binding 11th Circuit precedent on the issue, if there is any. and address that issue. But in terms of the hypothetical situation, Senator, I would leave it at that.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Let's set aside what the principle is for a moment. The Supreme Court has been pretty clear what the principle is. It goes back, I don't know, 80 years. But let's suppose, well, strike that. What I'm trying to understand is how you think, Judge. What do you think the principle ought to be? I mean, our founders were very clear that the legislative power is ours, and clearly we've given away that legislative power in some instances to some administrative agencies. What do you think the principle ought to be? Could the Congress just come in one week and said, we're tired, let's just give it all to the president for about 6 months while we go fishing? Would that be constitutional?
Well, certainly, Senator, I think to that extent would unlikely be constitutional based on...
Why do you think?
Based on the principle that I just stated, that and that you have reiterated, that...
Which is?
That Congress cannot delegate its authority except in certain circumstances.
And those are?
And those are ones that, Senator, I would not want to speculate about. I can say that I would follow the Supreme Court's guidance on that, and my understanding of that guidance is that those circumstances are very narrow.
Okay. But you're not familiar with the principle?
Senator, to the extent that you're looking for a specific articulation,
yes,
I would have to look at the case law and follow up on that.
Robert, do you have any questions you want me to ask your dad? You sure? Now's your shot, man. Do you have anything you'd like to say to us, Robert? It's okay. A wise man once said nothing.
I think he had a hello for you.
A wise man once said nothing. Thank you, Judge.